to another STEMtastic Wednesday at the McGuanago Community Library. Today we're going to be building a marble run. So for materials, you can have these like paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls, scissors, tape, marbles, or we have these like little wooden beads. And we also have this big piece of paper to make more tubes, so you can do that too. Something to think about before we start building our marble run is what you want it to do. If you want it to like zigzag, if you want to go down then uphill, what you want to do to make the design of your track. Another thing to think about is if you want to use like a whole tube or cut them in half to make more like 2 half tubes, so you'd have more tubes to go through. So we have 2 half tubes and a whole tube, and then we're going to make tubes out of this piece of paper too. So just cut off, if you have a big piece of paper like this, just cut off a few inches of it. And just roll it into a tube. Make sure it's big enough for your marble to get through though. Start by placing the first tube high off the ground so we have room to work. So just keep putting your tubes up in any arrangement that you want. You can have zigzag patterns, linear patterns, any kind of pattern. Just make sure you have them all up there in some kind of arrangement. After you have all your tubes up on a wall like we have here in your arrangement, you're going to want to take your marble, or as we have a wooden bead, and place it at the top and just see if it works. If yours doesn't work, some things you want to check is check to see where it got stuck and why. Or like maybe these things, like we had an issue of having them be a little floppy, so we had to tape them a little bit differently. Maybe your tubes aren't nice and like round at the bottom, so it has a weird bump. Or maybe if you have hills that it doesn't have enough momentum going down to go back up. Just check for things like that to see why maybe it didn't work. So what's actually happening when you let your marble down the track is there's a thing called gravitational potential energy, which is when the marble's off the ground, because gravity's trying to pull it down, it has potential energy to go down, and like obviously the track will make it go to the side or whatever. And then that potential energy gets transformed into kinetic energy or motion energy. So the marble is moving along because of the gravity pulling it down. So when we go down the track like that, the kinetic energy is making it move with gravity pulling it down. And then things that will make it lose energy, like friction, or when it hits when it's on the paper, or it hits the wall, or hits something, it will lose energy because of friction, or sound, or heat, or other ways to release energy like that. Something else that you'll notice is if you make ramps, you can never have the ramp be higher than where the marble started, because it will lose too much energy going up the ramp than it gained going down. So when you have a ramp or a loop or anything, you want to make sure it has a smooth surface to make sure that it doesn't lose any friction, or doesn't lose too much friction on bumps or those kind of things. Something else for like digging deeper into this project, you can try using different materials for your tubes. So we used paper towel rolls and paper rolls, but you could try, what would happen if you tried using like a pool noodle or pipe insulation? How does that affect how fast it goes, or how much energy it has? You can also try different objects. So we used marbles or wooden beads, but you could try different objects that have different shapes, different masses, to see how that would affect the energy that it has and how fast it goes or how far it travels. You can try to get your marble to go over a jump or go through a loop to see if you can get it to have enough energy to go all the way around. Just different things like that. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this Tastic Wednesday.